Hello, I'm Tag,
And this is Bob.
and you're listening to Bob and Tag Talk. Before we start the show, I'd like to point out that the topics discussed on Bob and Tag Talk are Bob and Tag's personal opinions and comments. We don't intend to cause harm or offense, we are simply providing our personal commentary on subjects that we find interesting. So today we're going to talk about streaming services and the tussle that's going on between them. So recently we heard the news that Netflix's stock is down by 68%
Yes.
because subscriptions have decreased and all of that. So first we thought we could talk about why the subscriptions have decreased and what Netflix is doing to combat that, and see how other competing streaming platforms are performing. So why is it that the subscriptions are decreasing?
So the main reasons for subscriptions decreasing are recently Netflix has increased the monthly payment for all the existing subscribers. So it was actually maybe a little bit cheaper. The prices have increased, and there's a lot of inflation going on as well.
Right,
So
right.
people are probably thinking,
This is particularly in the US.
particularly mainly in the US.
Okay, okay.
US is the largest market, and then that is, and so people are rethinking whether they should they pay for Netflix every month on month. Maybe they'll just pay for whenever they want to see some particular show.
Right,
They will
right.
pay for it. They will watch it, and then
Yeah, they'll cancel their subscription.
correct.
Yeah. So, yeah, like you said, so let's say there's like a really good show coming, and obviously Netflix releases all of these episodes in like one shot. So binge watching, and then okay, I finished watching this, so I'll cancel the subscription.
Correct. Until your next favorite show comes, probably. I mean, you will may not watch it.
Right.
It is not like Netflix has so many really, really good shows that you
Right.
can watch every day or something like that.
True, true.
It's
There's
not possible, yeah.
they fund a lot of like indie sort of series, but some of them are a hit, most of them not so much.
Yes.
So that is there. Also, what about the shared accounts thing also?
Yeah, so Netflix has always been always has known that people have been sharing passwords.
Yes, yes.
So multiple people have been watching. They did introduce some limits, like
5 people or something.
maximum of 5 or 6 people. But
Okay.
even then, multiple families can generally
Right,
tend to use
right.
it as long as there can be parallel usage.
Right.
You don't do parallel usage, you can still somehow manage with one subscription.
And that is also a sort of a loss for them.
Yeah, that's also a loss for them.
So yeah, and obviously there's also competition. There's huge competition right now.
Yes, so one of the main competition for Netflix now, at least, is that HBO Max. So their streaming service, even though they may not have a lot of really, really good content, they have a lot of movies. And then they have a lot of old shows like Game of Thrones
Oh,
and things
okay.
like, which are really rewatchable and things
Okay.
like that. And more adult related content.
Like also more classics.
Classics, yeah, true.
Okay,
true.
okay. And I suppose there's also this distinction that some of the other streaming platforms don't do the put all the episodes in one day, right? They do
Correct.
it like week by
Weekly
week
episodes.
by week.
Even now, Disney is actually all those premium shows, right? Like WandaVision and even Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Right.
and even now, which is going on, the Moon Knight. It's all weekly one episode. So so at least you need to have 2 months subscription to view the full show.
Yes, yes. And I think, having that model makes the user interested, obviously. And then once that show is done, and it takes 2 months, right, to finish that show.
yes.
By the time there'll
Another
be
show
another
would come up. Yeah.
Right, right. So I think, yeah, that model sort of works out for them.
Yeah, so Netflix is the one that started binge watching. So now the challenge for Netflix is if they move away from this binge watching model, so will their subscribers be happy about it?
Right. I think the binge watching model was really good during the pandemic because people are just sitting and binging and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I don't think I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the Netflix subscribers would think, if they switch away from the binge model.
Yeah.
But I think at one point the subscribers can't really do anything, right? Even if Netflix decides, okay, no more binge related shows, we are only going to release 1 episode per week or whatever, the subscribers will have to adhere to that. There's no other go, right?
True. I mean, the worst thing they can do is cancel subscription.
Right, yeah, which is already happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of the competition you mentioned, HBO Max,
And
Disney.
And then Apple TV is also doing really
Okay.
well now.
Okay.
So Apple is also its movie has won the Best Picture Oscar, so they are also producing more content.
Right, right.
So and Apple's earnings and everything have been really really good.
Okay, okay.
And then one other challenges for Netflix is so it had stopped its subscription in Russia.
Okay, okay.
So because of all the controversies and war-related scenarios, so they stopped their services in Russia, and that has also affected their profitability.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's sort of unavoidable at this instance because a lot of companies were doing that sort of a thing where they were stopping services in Russia, US companies that is. So that's something they can't do. So what steps are Netflix taking to sort of compensate for this loss in subscribers?
So one thing that probably they are again going to experiment is with their ad-supported plans.
Okay.
So maybe we can choose for lower priced plans where something like YouTube, you get ads between the shows. Let's say we are watching a 30-minute show, you get ads at after each 10 minutes, 2 ad slots.
Okay.
Like 3-minute ads you need to watch.
Okay.
That is one way they can probably, do get some more income. Subscribers income. Yeah, and the main thing is, will they probably do to all their shows, or will it be only for their premium shows?
Right.
And how are they going to balance it out? It's a little difficult.
Right. But what you mentioned, right, the ad program for like a lower cost, right? I can actually see that sort of working out as long as the ads are not too intrusive,
Netflix will automatically control. Since you're only using Netflix, just switching videos, so it'll exactly know. When I remember when I used Netflix long back, it was an ad-supported platform. So every 10 minutes, 12 minutes, we used to get an ad.
And that was like a 30-second ad or something?
2 30-second ads.
Oh, okay.
You can skip, I think one of them you can skip, one of them probably it is mandatory to watch or something.
Interesting. Because to me, that would just feel like, okay, that's the cue for me to go get, some...
Take a break,
go eat something, drink something. So I can see that sort of working out, but we'll see. So you mentioned Apple is doing really, really well.
Yeah, Apple is, at least the Apple as a company is really doing well, but Apple doesn't report their streaming or media sites separately. It's mostly combined with iTunes and then combined with others, music and other things probably as of now.
Okay.
So, but they are going to compete. So they have a lot of cash in hand. They can really compete with Netflix.
Right.
And Disney can also compete. Disney has a lot of really good shows,
right.
Cartoons, animations.
Right, yeah.
So probably there is also news that Netflix might stop doing animations.
Okay.
Because it doesn't want to compete with Disney in the animation part of it.
Interesting, because it wouldn't be able to also, I suppose.
Correct. So maybe they'll start to move towards different kind of content. And the international content is also there for Netflix. So Netflix now has to produce a lot of shows, produce a lot of content in like the Korean shows.
Right,
the really popular Korean shows that are coming up now.
Right.
Some really good shows in UK.
Right.
And then probably some Eastern European shows or something like that. For each country, it needs to at least have one important show or something like that.
Right.
And Netflix in India has also been like, the prices are currently low now. So they have this 200 rupees plan for one single subscriber.
Okay.
They cannot share anything.
Okay.
If you want to share it in parallel watch it in 2 screens,
right.
they have this 500 rupees subscription.
All right.
And depending on the HD and high definition and SD also, it also, I think the highest plan has the HD definition.
Okay. So, obviously coming up with good content and maybe those ads thing will probably help Netflix because right now Netflix is supporting a lot of different shows.
Yeah.
And they spend a lot of money to, what I'm trying to say is they distribute the money for them to make all of these shows, but the shows may not succeed as well, and that they do not get their revenue back.
Yeah.
So probably Netflix needs to think a little bit more about what sort of shows they're funding, and also
ideally they need to fund which the subscribers like.
Yeah.
Like Stranger Things is one of the most popular ones. Squid Game has become popular all over the world, so I think probably they'll do some more like sequels. Multiple seasons of shows like that.
Yeah. So we talked about Disney, Apple, Netflix. What about Amazon Prime?
So Prime Video has always been there. It has really good video content plan. But one of the different things that Amazon is trying to do is Amazon is becoming like a streaming platform where you can have multiple subscriptions to other services.
Multiple subscriptions to other services.
So, for example, if you have Hulu subscription, and if you have some small, like in India at least, right? You have a lot of different like Hangama, and then a lot
other
of
platforms.
small platforms. Like some new shows which they are producing, local content. So, for example, like Z or something like that, they have produced their own local content. So what what Amazon are doing is you have an Amazon subscription, that is the Amazon Prime, through which you can do shopping and other things. That is your default one. But if you want some specific movies or something that is part of the Z stable, that is part of some production house stable, whatever it is, so you can pay a separate 30 rupees subscription for that.
Interesting. So it's
like a top up of extra mini subscription or something like that.
Yeah, it's sort of becoming what we do with cable TV now.
Yes.
That's an interesting route to take, because even with Z Star and everything, especially during IPL season or whatever it is, people will want to subscribe.
But yeah, IPL definitely is not exclusive to. You can't watch it on Amazon. Those kind of things. They're only concentrating on small movies, local language movies, probably which local content, which probably you may not generally get
outside anywhere else.
It's very localized.
Okay. That's an interesting route to take as well.
And the main advantage of Amazon is like you get one subscription which provides you books, shopping, lot of other things. It's a combined package. It's not similar to what Netflix or Disney Plus is.
Yes.
That's only media, only streaming.
Yes.
So that's why now they have this, and their main thing is Amazon Fire TV, or the Fire Stick.
Right.
So they want to gain more users to the Fire Stick, so that that's why they are concentrating on local languages. Same thing they would do in Europe as well. So in Europe there are multiple languages like Spanish, Italian, French. So if you have local content and you can pay a little bit of extra subscription just to watch that particular local content, it will make sense for them.
So we mentioned that the Netflix stock is down by 68% and everything. What about the stock prices for Disney, Amazon, Apple, Google, all of that?
So this is the earnings season. So Disney is still yet to report its earnings. But Apple and Amazon have reported their earnings. So Apple has really good earnings because of its main superior products and because of the margins that they have. So Apple will continue to invest more into other new avenues. And then Amazon has reported some losses, mainly because of inflation and so on. And all the companies are generally reporting poor probably forecasts for the next year because of this high inflation.
Right.
So they are having some supply chain problems.
Right.
They are having problems getting the semiconductor chips and so on.
Right.
And so slowly probably the companies will start probably to report lesser earnings, and probably the conditions may be tighter. So for now, Amazon and Apple have at least announced stock buybacks. So stock buybacks are a way to increase the share price of the company. So basically 90 billion to 100 billion dollars of shares they will buy from the open market. So people who are holding some 100 shares of Amazon or something, they can choose to sell it back to the company for a fixed amount.
Buyback. So the companies will buy it back from the people they initially sold it to.
Yes.
Okay.
So what will happen is the existing subscribers who choose to remain, their value will increase.
Okay.
Because they choose to hold on. Right. So it's a way of improving the stock price and also the quality, basically the shareholder quality.
Right. So that way, the more, let's say, loyal, quote unquote loyal people remain shareholders, and the other people who just want to do trading or something like that, they'll sell it, get some quick cash and move on. Okay.
And immediately the share price will increase. So probably that is what, since they are earning a lot of money, they have a lot of cash in the company, so they can choose to do those things. But when Netflix will report its earnings, I'm sure it will be poor. Already they have already mentioned that they lost subscribers and so on. So subsequent quarters also their earnings may be a little bit poor until they come up with what exactly is the ad supported plans and what is their actual plan to come over this. So they have not actually disclosed a lot of information as of now. And so the other main earnings that we had recently was Berkshire Hathaway.
Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah, Berkshire Hathaway. So Warren Buffett is the CEO and chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. They own Apple. So they own a lot of really, really oil stocks, and then
So they own Apple, some oil stocks,
they own a lot of things like BNSF,
Coca-Cola.
Railway, Coca-Cola. They own shares in Coca-Cola. They own shares in so many other
right?
companies.
Big companies.
Big companies. So it's one of the top 10 largest market shares in US at least.
Okay.
So yeah, their earnings were also, they also reported losses.
Oh.
So because most of them theirs are what you call real businesses. That is not digital businesses. They're physical businesses where you need raw materials, you need to transport, and you need things. So inflation is really eating away their cost as well. So at least for now. So even such a big company as them, so they have a lot of cash in hand. They have more than $100 billion in cash with them. So they will survive this particular thing. Smaller companies will not survive.
Yeah. Okay.
So slowly this inflation will become a big issue, and then we'll see whether what are the what is the reaction from the Federal Reserve or banks, central banks, and then we'll have to wait and see. And then how will this affect businesses? How will affect their earnings? We'll just have to wait and see.
And it's not only that it's gonna affect the US, right? It's gonna affect.
Yeah, it's affecting everywhere.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with all the ripple effects also.
Yes.
Right?
So generally the consensus is that in the Indian market mirrors, it's very correlated with the American market.
Right. Okay.
So if the American market there is a drop, the Indian market generally there is a chance of high probability. It's not 100%, but it's high probability. But here the thing is like at least in India we have posted really good GST. So the GST revenue for the government has really increased.
Okay.
So that means that because we are doing a lot of imports, and then because the inflation is high, so companies are increasing the prices of the products, and so consumers have to pay a lot more. As the prices of the product increases, the tax on the product also increases because it's a percentage calculation. So the government is getting more revenue, but is this sustainable in the long run? That is something that we'll have to see.
All right. Okay. So we'll see what happens then. And I think that's a good spot to end it there today. Hey, thanks for listening to Bob and Tag Talk. Please consider following us on our Instagram and Facebook pages. We put out weekly summaries of the topics discussed on the podcast. And if you found this episode informative, please like, share, and subscribe.